4.1 Part 2, we're talking about E. When we plugged in 1 for N, we got out 2. When we plug in, let's jump up to 5, you get out 2.48832. Up to 10, 2.59374. Plug in 100, 2.70481. 1000, 2.71692. 10,000 gives us 2.71815. 100,000 gives us 2.71828. And that is what we approximate E to be. E is approximately 2.71828. And when we use E in an exponential function, it's called the natural exponential function. F of x equals e to the x, where e is the base. So if you think about it, it's 2.71, roughly, to the x. Therefore, the graph is going to be going up faster than f of x equals 2 to the x, which is in blue, and in the red is the natural exponential function, f of x equals e to the x. Now on your calculators, there's a nice button that allows you to just press E and calculate. So use your calculator to evaluate 3e to the 0.4. Yes, there is a decimal in there. So you type in 3e to the 0.4, and you should get out 4.47547. We can use E to represent quantities in word problems such as the following. A radioactive substance decays in such a way that the amount of mass remaining after T days is given by the function m of T equals 13e to the negative 0.015 T, where m of T is measured in kilograms. So T is the amount of time, mass is the weight of the substance in kilograms. So we want to know what it is, how much it weighs at time 0, what the mass is at time 0. So we're plugging in T equals 0, so m of 0 equals 13e to the negative 0.015 times 0. This is all going to go to 0 up there. So 13e to the 0. Anything to the 0th power we know is 1. So at time 0, the mass is 13 kilograms. We wanted to know what the mass is after 45 days. We're going to plug in 45 for T. M of 45 equals 13e to the negative 0.015 times 45. Go ahead, plug that into your calculator. and you get the mass at 45 days to be 6.619 kilograms. It lost about half its mass in 45 days. Compound interest is also represented using an exponential function. It takes on the formula A of t equals p times the quantity 1 plus r over n to the nt. A of t is the amount of money after t years. P is the principal, that's the amount of money initially invested. R is the interest rate per year. N is the number of times the interest is compounded per year. T is the number of years. So if we have $500 invested at an interest rate of 8% per year, find the amount in the account after 3 years if the interest is compounded annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, and daily. So let's identify what they gave us. The $500, that's the initial amount. So that's your principal. Interest rate of 8%, that's R, and let's go ahead and change it to a decimal of 0.08. Time, 3 years. And then N is going to change because we want to figure it out for all of these. So we have a chart, and we have our formula. So 500 plus 1 over 1 plus 0.08 over n to the n times 3. So for annual is once every year. So we plug in 1 for n, 500 times 1 plus 0.08 over 1 to the 1 times 3, and you get 629.86. Semi-annually, it's 2 times a year. Plug it in, or n. 500 times 1 plus 0.08 over 2 to the 2 times 3 gives you 632.66. Quarterly is 4 times a year, so 500 times 1 plus 0.08 over 4 to the 4 times 3. Still earned a little bit more money, 634.12. Monthly, 12 times a year. $500 times 1 plus 0.08 over 12 to the 12 times 3 gives you 635.19, so about $1 more. And daily, let's assume they did not have a leap year in those 3 years. 365. So 500 times 1 plus 0.08 over 365 to the 365 times 3 gives you $635.60. Not that much different between the monthly and the daily. 41 cents. The other way that interest could be compounded is called continuously compounded interest. That means it's compounded every instant, and it takes the formula A of t equals P times e to the RT. A of t is the amount of money after t years. P is the principal, once again the initial investment. R is the rate per year. T is the number of years. So we're going to use the same scenario, except it's compounded continuously. So T is 3, P is 500, R is that 0.08. Plug all of this into our formula. A of t equals P times e to the RT. So after 3 years, that $500 times e to the 0.08 times 3. So after 3 years, you get $635.62. Only 2 cents more than if compounded every day. That's the end of 4.1. Thank you for watching.